Hi folks, this is Richard Doyle here with BeLeanForLifeCoach.com, and today we're going to make some organ meat sausage, or actually it's summer sausage because I put it in the bigger casings, but organ meat summer sausage today. Okay then, let's get started on the organ meat sausage. So, first of all, let's go through some equipment and some components here. The organs that I'm going to use are liver. I've got a pound of beef liver there. I have a pound of beef heart, and I have a pound of beef kidney. So those are the three organs that I'm going to use. I've also got a pound of ground beef. This will be pastured, grass-fed ground beef. And I've got 2 pounds of pork sausage. That is actually a wild boar. I harvested a wild boar a way back, and so I got plenty of sausage meat out of that. And this is a 2-pound package here, and that's what I'm going to use. So in total there is actually 6 pounds of meat here. So we're going to get processing 6 pounds of meat, and we're probably going to come out with somewhere in the region of 5 pounds of sausages by the time we're finished. What else have we got here? Well, the recipe is like a bratwurst recipe, and so I've got this product here. It consists of some cure and some flavoring, so we'll be putting some of that in. The actual casings I use are fibrous casings. These are for summer sausage. They've been cured. They're non-edible, by the way, that's important. And what I do is I put them in some warm water to get them sort of pliable there before I get started. And then I'm going to smoke these sausages when I'm done. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put a handful of, this would be apple chips, into some water here and let them soak. And when we come to do the smoking, that's what we will be using. Alright, I have here 5 jalapeno peppers and 1 habanero pepper, and I'm going to put those into the sausage because I like mine to be hot, and that certainly gives it a hot flavour there. This of course is a grinder, standard grinder. This little implement here I call a lawnmower, and you're going to see in a minute that I'm going to cut up these peppers with this so I get them nice and small. So I think that covers all the components here. So let's go ahead and get this meat prepared. So the organs themselves I'm going to boil for about 20 minutes because I want to get them cooked. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take these components. This is the heart, and I'm going to cut that up into smaller pieces. So let's see how that goes. Not going to make these pieces too small because I am going to grind them up, but I don't want it to be too much of a stress for the grinder. So there you can see pieces about this size. So we've got a pound of heart going in there. Alright. So next, let's do the liver. I have a pound of liver here. So I'm going to cut this up in a similar fashion and add it to the pot here. So you can see what I'm doing here. But, liver's a little more difficult to cut up, a little more slimy. But here we go, pretty much that done now, so we're going to put that in the pot too. Then the final organ that we're going to put in is the kidney. So I have a pound of kidney here as well. So I'm going to pull that out and cut that up in a similar fashion. Now the kidney has quite a bit of fat in it, as you can see. So I'm not sure I want all that, so I'm going to cut some of that out. Not all of it. We'll have a little bit of fat in there, but we'll get rid of some of it. So, here we go, we just cut up the kidney in the same fashion. Of course, once this is all cooked, it'll be a lot softer, and then it'll be much easier to go through the mincer there. So, there we go. I don't know if you can see that, but that is 3 pounds of organ meat, liver, kidney, and heart. So what we're going to do, I'm going to put a little bit of water in there, maybe some salt and pepper, and then I'm going to put it on the stove for about 20 minutes and get it cooked up, and then I'm going to come back and we'll get on to the next stage. Okay then, about 20 minutes cooking the meat here, the organ meat, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this through the grinder, and basically I'm going to use a large grinder. This is the smaller one that I'm going to use in a minute, but just to get started I'm going to use this big one. So okay then, so we have ground up the organ meat. You can see it there, it's fairly coarse, and so now let's get on to some of the other components that we're going to add here. We'll start off with the other meat. As I said earlier, I've got 2 pounds of wild boar sausage meat here, so we're going to add that in there. And then I've got a pound of grass-fed ground beef. I'm going to add that in there as well. Right, so once I got this in here, we'll have all the, that's all the meat. So basically we have here about 6 pounds of meat, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically integrate all of this, bring it together, mix it up, call it what you will. Obviously the beef and the sausage don't need to go through the primary grind because it's already been through that process. So basically what I'm doing here is combining the organ meat with the other meats, so we've got a complete set of meat here that we can put through the second grind. So we're getting there. Right, now then we've got to add some other components to this. So what we have here is the bratwurst flavouring, 1/4 of a cup plus 1 tablespoon. So I'm going to put that in there. And then I've got the cure, and there I've just got 1/4 of a cup. So I'm going to put that in there. And so now I'm going to complete the mixing process here. Let's get everything together. Looking like it's a little bit dry, so I think I'm going to add a little bit of water here in a minute, but first of all let me just finish off getting this done. Right then, so that's pretty much got that meat mixed up. So we've got the organ meat, the sausage and the ground beef all mixed up together there. So now we're going to add the heat. So I have this thing I call a lawnmower here, and we're going to put this pepper in here, jalapeno and habanero. Put that in there and show you how this works. Guess you can see why it's called a lawnmower now. As you can see, that's come out pretty fine. So we're going to add that in there. And, right, that's the final amount of peppers. So you're probably thinking that's an awful lot of pepper to put in there. Maybe it is. I actually like my sausages hot. Pretty much like all my food hot, but I do like my sausage hot as well. And what I'm going to do here, I've added all this together so that when I come to do the second grind, basically it'll get further integrated, if you will. As it goes through the grinder, all this stuff will get more completely mixed. So there we go. Right, well I think we got that well mixed now, so we're about ready to put this through the grinder again. And I'm going to change the head on the grinder. I had the coarse one on there, and I'm going to put the fine one on. You probably don't want to watch me doing that, so I will come back when I've done that, and we'll put it through the second grind. Right then, so now we've got all the components here mixed up together, and we've changed the head on here, so I've got a much finer grind. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this through the grinder for the second time. Okay then, well that was a long noisy process. I will spare you the majority of that when I edit the video, but here you can see it's gone through the second grind. It's much finer now, and all the peppers have kind of got integrated in there and you can't really see them. So as far as making the sausages per se, that's a done deal at this point. I'm going to come back here in a minute and we're going to actually stuff them into the casings, and then we'll be ready to put them in the smoker. Okay then, so now we're actually going to stuff the sausage meat into the casings. So let's get that process started. Try to go. Alright, so how do we stuff it up? Okay, well, I'm going to roll these up like this, and then I'm just going to put that inside of here. Make sure you get this thin enough so it doesn't stick to the sides, and then it gets time consuming to actually fill the casing. So try and keep this as thin as we can. So we get it started here. Here we go, we've got it going. So I'm going to push that down now. So what I do is I squeeze that like this and tighten it up so that pushes it down to the bottom, and then we'll add some more. Near the end here, so we won't put too much in because we don't want to be messing around having to take some out. So let's put a little bit more in. Again, we'll squeeze that down again. Alright, still get a little bit more in here, so I'm just going to put a small amount more in. Now this mixture usually makes 5 of these. I guess sometimes if I don't pack it hard enough, get a little bit more than that, but I'm going to be going to make 5. They actually weigh roughly a pound each, so even though I started out with 6 pounds of meat and you know, the various peppers and things I put in there, I really only end up with about 5 pounds of sausage, but that's okay. Okay then, so we've pretty much filled that up, hopefully not overfilled it. And so now, what I'm going to do, well actually I have overfilled it a little bit, so we're going to take a little bit out of there and push that down. As you can see, this is a pretty messy job, not particularly complicated, but it is messy. So now then, we're going to squeeze that down, get it down as far as we can. I think that's probably good enough. And then I've got some string here, so I'm going to string up the other end. You probably could see there was the other end is already strung. So we're going to string this up. Hopefully you can see that there, so we're going to put a few extra knots in here so that doesn't come undone. So there you are, there is the first one. I'm going to obviously wash this down, clean it off so it looks nice, but basically that's our first pound or so of summer sausage. So I'm going to do another 4 or 5 of these, so I'll come back when I'm finished and we'll move on to the next stage. Right, so I've made the sausages now. I've stuffed the casings, as you can see. Looks nice and smooth, and cleaned them up. So I've got 5 there, so that's basically 5 pounds, and then probably another half a pound here. So basically that's the result, if you will, of the 6 pounds of meat that initially went into the project. So I'm going to let them stand for 2 or 3 hours, and then I'm going to smoke them. So I'll be going outside and putting these in the smoker. It's summer in Texas at the moment while I'm making this video, and looking at the temperatures outside, looks like I probably don't really need a smoker. I could just lay them out there and blow smoke over them and get the same effect. But anyway, we're going to put them in the smoker, and I'll come back and we'll do that next. Okay then, so here we are on a hot summer Texas day, and we're about to put the organ meat sausage into the smoker here. I've got the smoker going at about 200 degrees, a little warmer than I need, but I find that in order to get the smoke to go, I need to have it around that temperature. So I've got my soaked chips here, and I've put those in there, so that's getting ready to smoke. So now all we need to do is load the sausages in, and we're ready to go. I do have a probe here, so I'm going to feed that probe down the length of one of these sausages, and we'll put that in there. So we'll just put all of these in, and be ready to go. So there we go. I've put all the sausages in there. I've got the probe inserted. I'm guessing that the probe's probably reading about 75 degrees right now. And we're going to get it to 150. So that might take a couple of hours. We'll see, but 150 is what I'm aiming at. So we'll come back later and check that. Okay then, the probe now is at 150 degrees, so we're ready to take the sausages out of the smoker. It took a little bit over an hour, maybe an hour and 10 minutes. It was quite quick today. I guess that's because the ambient temperature here is pretty hot. It's probably 100 degrees outside here, so that's probably the reason. Right, so there we are. Smelling good. I'll take the one that has the probe in it out first of all. There we go with that one. So then, there we are. The sausages are finished, and we'll take them inside and have them cool down. I'll probably freeze them then for a while, and then just take them out when I want to eat them.